The Zweihander is a beautiful legacy weapon that was made even better by the Elden Ring DLC. It has, time and time again, solidified itself as one of the greatest weapons in the series. I could not ask for a better weapon to clear Dark Souls 1 for the first time, or to clear the Elden Ring DLC on my most recent campaign. We can buy the Zwei before we fight a single boss. Head to the Isolated Merchant in the shack on the western shore of the Weeping Peninsula. 3,500 runes later, and you have yourself a pretty looking colossal sword. The Zwei has the swiping light attacks of other colossal swords. These swipes cover a huge arc in front of you. You can chain them together thrice for a full attack chain. Something about the reach or speed of these attacks makes the NPC AI short circuit and utterly incapable of dodging all three attacks. The heavy attack is even better. We do not have a heavy swing, but instead a thrusting attack. We get stupid good range and damage from this thrusting attack, which is why I decided to base the build around it. To complement the hard-hitting poke, I used Giant Hunt as my Ash of War. This isn't the first time I've used this Ash of War on this weapon for a run, but the effectiveness outweighs the redundancy. Slapping Giant Hunt on the Zweihander turns it into what feels less like a weapon and more like a train. Anything you fight with the potential to be knocked down can be shot up in the air. Because we have that range on our heavy attack, we can punish enemies while they're picking themselves off the ground. If we still have the FP and stamina, we can follow up with another Giant Hunt until we're out of energy or they're down for the count. The only spell I used for this build was Golden Vow. Flame Grant Me Strength would have also worked well, and given us a further boost to physical damage. I didn't use it out of a desire to keep this build simplistic. Weapon incantation buffs can be another cool option to increase AR. Again, I didn't use these to keep everything simple, and due to the fact my character's inventory is near to bursting with all these elemental greases. Heavy Infuse and any element you desire can be slathered on the Zwei. Our fights start with the Flask, Golden Vow, and a Weapon Grease. Be sure to always two-hand your weapon after buffing. Wir nennen es Zweihander, nicht Einhander. All of our attacks do great poise damage. It doesn't matter if you light attack, roll attack, or heavy attack. You will get a poise break, so use whatever you're most comfortable with. This is the first time I poise broke Promised Consort on Max New Game Plus. Abuse Giant Hunt to its limit on smaller enemies. When you see an opening, send your sword crashing in with a fully charged R2 attack. Because the Zweihander is light for a colossal sword, I used very light armor so I could light roll around the battlefield. I don't necessarily recommend a light load for a slower weapon, especially for newer players. However, the contrast of fast character movement and a really big weapon is fun. Our talismans for the build are the two-handed sword talisman. Because the sword is literally called the two-hander, this DLC talisman is perfect. The Dragon Crest Great Shield to give us 20% more physical defense in case we get hit during a swing. The Two-Headed Turtle Talisman for more stamina regeneration. Chaining together heavy attacks and the Ash of War does not come cheap stamina-wise. Finally, we have the Axe Talisman, for more damage with our fully charged heavies. The tiers of the week are the Opaline Hard tier, for more protection in the light armor I was using, and the Spiked Crack tier, for more damage with those fully charged heavies. Our stats at RL 170 are 60 Vigor, 22 Mind for the Ash of War and Golden Vow, 47 Endurance to light roll, and use heavy attacks without running a stamina deficit, 66 Strength for more damage on a heavy infusion, and 25 Faith to use Golden Vow. We can stop at soft caps if we want to, but my goal for this build was more around fun and not around min-maxing. In addition to that, there really aren't that many stats we need investments in. If you don't care to light roll, you can always take some points out of endurance and put them into strength. And if you yourself want to use incantation buffs, you can always invest more in faith. This is the simplest build I've used in a while, but it was also one of the easiest game clears I've had in a long time. The Zweihander is still one of the greatest From Software weapons of all time. Next time there is new content released from the studio, I'll be sure to make an exclusive run with it, much earlier than half a year after release.